Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Abhang, but you'll get to simply know me as Al of this very channel called ThroughEllesEyes. I don't even know how to pronounce my channel's name. Wow. Ha! Anyway, this is evident that the girl is very rusty. I haven't posted a video on the channel in over a year and a couple of months, but let's get straight into it. So the title of this video is called "What the hell was that?" and it's an ode to 2020. Hey, we exalted that year, like we lifted it up. We were like, you are the girl you think you are. You're gonna be great. You're gonna be fabulous. Things are gonna align. 2020 vision. And she was just sitting by the sideline saying, you don't know what's in store for you. And I'm still sitting here like, wow. 366 days, because it was a leap year, of course, right? 366 days of you turning out like that for us, your loyal ones, your day ones, and you did us like that. Crazy. Wow, 2020 was a lot, guys, and I must say the reason I'm only recording a video today is the 4th of April, so this video will go live sometime in the new week. It's the Easter weekend and I just decided to take a break from studying and do what I wanted to do, which is create content. But anyway, I digress. So the reason I wanted to create this video also at this time of the year is so that I can suss 2021 out, right? So the first quarter has passed and I really needed to get my bearings straight so that I know, okay, where are we going? Because if 2021 felt anything like the previous year, I must be honest, I was not even going to think of creating content anytime soon. So here I am. I'm sitting here and sitting pretty. I thought I should look a bit respectable for you guys because it's been ages since I sat in front of the camera and connected with the outside world via socials, right? And I say that because I like the golden thread, and I thought, what would be a great idea for me to show some kind of continuity. So I'm wearing this dress. I'm not going to give you a sense that I've never worn it before during the lockdown, but this fits right into the story that I'm about to tell you and how I'm going to deliver this very recording. So I wore this dress to my cousin's surprise birthday last year, a week before the president announced the lockdown, the hard lockdown, the first lockdown, the real lockdown, guys, the 21-day lockdown that was supposed to last for 21 days, and now we're sitting on 360 something odd days, or even more rather, actually. Let me not get emotional because I can just feel it. All right, so I wore this dress, and I remember 3 days after the lockdown, on the 29th of March, after the lockdown was announced, or when it effectively started, I created a post on my socials. And this is the post, and I spoke about a lot of things, but I think what stood out for me was how that period felt very eerie, and how, in as much as I'm a homebody, I really felt so uncomfortable by being forced, because we were forced into being in a hard lockdown, not allowed to go anywhere. So connecting with people was a bit difficult, which I do very easily. Getting in touch and just tapping, like touch base, you know, which I would do naturally on any given day. I think it was 3 days in, and I could feel myself sinking into a deep dark hole of just being overwhelmed with how things could possibly turn out. So, and my did they turn out quite bad, right? It wasn't, I think the majority of the time spent last year, ironically, we had a lot of time on our hands, and I'll speak particularly for myself, had a lot of time on my hands, spent quite a lot of time at home, because even though I work in a space that is regarded as essential services, most of the workforce in our company were required to work from home, and I was one of the people who worked from home. So I had a lot of time on my hands. You could think so, but content creation was the least of the things that I really wanted to do, even though that I knew it brought me so much joy. But I think the one thing about the lockdown is that it taught us how our home spaces, how uncomfortable they are in any aspect really. For me, I use this example quite a lot with people, that the things that we regarded as easy to get, like fast food or a smoothie. If you're like me, I'd grab a smoothie. If you knew that you could get it from any establishment or eatery, and there was a period where food joints were closed because they were not considered as essential, and if you didn't have a blender or are so used to grab and go type of situation, and you didn't have a blender in your home, and there were certain times where you couldn't even buy appliances because they were not considered as essential, like at a period where you couldn't even buy lip gloss. Wow, what a very dark time. But so some things, so during that time I felt very overwhelmed and I couldn't connect with people, and my post encouraged people to not disengage, which is very ironic, but not disengage, trying to keep in touch, because I think what I wanted to achieve through that is for people to remain connected, because we were going to be quite apart for a long time. And at that point it was just 21 days, and that felt like 3 weeks too long, because we had to be at home, couldn't go anywhere, and not by choice, we were forced into it. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I love being at home, but imagine being at home and not being able to go to the gym, getting to see my parents, getting to visit friends, getting to go out for a cup of coffee, a few drinks, or whatever the case may be. So last year was very challenging because we all had plans, right? We wanted to travel more. We wanted to spend more time with our beloveds. We wanted to smash goals rather, that are aligned to the 2020 vision. We were conquerors even before the year began, and then the pandemic, which is still going on, happened. So this is also like a life update of a video, because just a high level life update. I mean, health wise, I'm great. I contracted COVID, and fortunately I'm okay, but unfortunately some people also contracted it, and we're all on the mend, gratefully so. But I think the one thing that COVID really took away from many of us was the opportunity to grieve loss, because yes, we grieved, but I remember in the period where I was diagnosed, my results came back positive. It was a week leading up to the planning of 2 funerals of very important people in my family, and I could not attend. So it was like, wow, how do I find closure? Still working on that. I don't have the answers. Still want to reach that point. Loss. A lot of relationships were strained. And I think another thing that this era has taught us was what we're willing to, what we need to work on, what we're willing to compromise, what we're not willing to settle for. A lot happened, right? Relationships were strained, and by relationships I'm not just saying with family only, I'm saying with external parties. Friendships were tested, because this thing was bigger than us, and if we've never dealt with anything like it. So it was a first, and we're still on the learning curve. And I think post-COVID is going to be very interesting. So I'm looking forward to that, when things are okay, but we have adjusted to what life is like right now. And I think I'm pretty excited about just us. I think if anything, this period in our lives has taught us how resilient we are as a people, and just to dig deep within ourselves and find resources and character traits that we never thought we possessed, that we didn't even know we possessed, and use them to our advantage. Work was a lot. Msebenzi. Werk. Msebenzi, guys. No. It was a lot. Wow. There was no disconnect with your home space and work. So the very same place that you spent a few hours and you came back to your safe haven. Now we were living at work, roll over, the laptop is right next to you. Not everyone had or still has the privilege to have a dedicated working space. So there were so many challenges with working from home, because previously or prior to what we currently are living in, the circumstances that we are living under, was that we could commute to work, get to work, do what we need to do, and then go back home and then focus on what home required of us, right? Which meant bonding with our relatives, finding time for self. But we couldn't I personally could not compartmentalize. I would be cooking and there was a Zoom meeting happening. So there are quite a few lessons that happened that that I know for sure that I'm taking forward, in terms of just how to set boundaries, because we live and we learn, and huge lessons have come out of just being a young professional, trying to still be top of my game, still getting to regulate how we deal with certain things in the professional space, and where we falter, because not everyone is perfect. And for me, I think I'll create a video about the lessons that I learned and things that I really want to do right by myself, because whether you achieve academically, whether you achieve professionally, does not mean you have to strip any parts of your life to make those certain elements or certain parts of your life prosper. In any case, but I'm happy. And I think I've mentioned this before, is that spending time away from this medium or this passion project, especially if people are expecting or have gotten used to a certain routine, and you just out of the blue pull yourself away without no warning in sight, or whatever the case may be, or just like COVID did to us, no warning shot, and the girl was like, I'm here. But anyway, spending time away from the channel was also a major concern for me, and I think it's a major concern for other content creators, in the sense that you get worried, the channel is dormant, what are people going to say, people won't subscribe, channel will obviously viewership is going to go all the way down. But I was pleasantly surprised at the fact that I got so many people who reached out in this year that I've been inactive for, saying love to work with you, love your content, subscribing. And every time I would get a subscription notice, I'd be like, where are you going? There's nothing. The last video was posted a couple of months ago, right? A year ago. But I'm very thankful, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank each and every single person who's reached out, whether it's wanting to work with me, whether it's saying or commenting on previous videos, right? And I really appreciate that, because when you think and you sit back and you're like, okay, I could just fade away and no one would notice, I think there's some level of reassurance that comes from people engaging with your content and wanting to engage with you offline, that gives you that reassurance to say, you know what, I'm on the right track, maybe I should give it a go one more time. So for me, it wasn't a matter of wanting to let go of YouTube altogether. It was a matter of feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. And we're still learning. I think many of us are on the come up from post-COVID fatigue, and we are learning to live within the confines of what the pandemic has presented to us. And for me, it's a matter of also seeking a space, which I will create a video about, how living in a certain space nearly stripped me of my passion. And yeah, we need to create healthy, conducive spaces that will allow us to follow through on not what people expect of us, not only that, but what we've promised ourselves as people who are often striving for excellence and whatever the idea of excellence means to self. So I'm happy to be back. Please look out for videos that will come out in the near future. Thank you for subscribing. Please let me know how you're doing. I always love to check in, right? Because it's one thing if I'm going to be talking about self, but I also want to know how you're doing. How's 2021 treated you so far? For me, it's been great. I'm still just unraveling certain and unfolding certain layers of what being present, mindful is all about, because it's got several layers. And I've also just realized that if one facet is not taken care of, it does not mean it interrupts or impacts the other layers. So it's a journey. We're working towards just being wholesome beings, but I'd love to get to hear how you guys are doing and what should I look out for, right? Because I really did not pay attention to whatever challenges, ideas, or things I could do for the channel in the last year. So I'd love to know what you would like for me to do. With that said, keep well, love, Elle.